You know, after doing 7 of these videos, you'd think that I'd be slowing down. Well, there's still more stuff. Intended and unintended, Breath of the Wild discoveries are a roller coaster that doesn't stop. If you enjoy this series, let us know by liking this video. Alright, let's go for a ride. Lava is pretty much exclusive to either Death Mountain or select shrines only. But there's a third place in Hyrule that has lava, and it's literally 1 minute away from the Great Plateau, at this pinpoint location here next to the Colosseum. This mysterious patch of lava is next to a patch of water, and isn't listed in any game files. It's pretty rare, but did you know that wildlife such as birds and squirrels can sometimes hide out in the hidden Korok tree holes? You can cheat your way out of giving your horse treats and still increase your bond with your horse. Simply spam B as a horse takes a treat, and you'll put it back in your pocket. Reminds me of those dog videos where they were given invisible treats. Now I feel bad. These carrots at Kakariko Village are protected by Steen the farmer, both by game dialogue and game mechanics. You can only really examine the carrot, but not to your horsey friend who can come in and go to town on the entire garden like a Roomba. And it's a great, free way to increase your horse bond, if you don't feel too guilty about it at least. Also, through normal dialogue, you can find out that Steen and Olkin aren't best of friends, and are constantly trash-talking each other. What you might not know is that Olkin is extremely petty, and at night, you can see him trample over Steen's carrot patch. These carrots just cannot catch a break. Rock Octoroks are seldom seen near any sort of water, but a weird interaction is seen when this eventide Octorok shoots its shot towards the water. It skims along the water's surface, eventually coming to a full stop without exploding. The banner that wraps around the sides of stables has a funny picture of a horse doing its signature horsey grin. Did you know that sometimes Bokoblin's classes prefer certain fighting styles, such as with wind cleavers? Lower class ones will prefer to sit back and swing the blade from a distance, while black and silver Bokoblins almost always spin the sword around. Gold ones prefer to keep their distance as well. If you climb up Link's house chimney, you can see all 4 divine beasts. If you get out of the way fast enough, you can start a fight between the Gerudo guards and pit them against each other. My money's on Barda. Rocks are plentiful and everywhere, but one thing's assured, they never spawn underwater. Except for this one. This rock right smack dab in the middle of Martha's Landing. It seems too conveniently placed right in the middle of the bay to be a coincidence. And technically, it's impossible to get. But with a glitch to disable water collision, you can go down there and finally pick up the rock and grab its loot underneath. Which Nintendo dev thought this was funny? Moza, the terrible cook's location on the map, is a monologue of what she's doing in the game. A pan-shaped location littered with trash in the middle of the pan. Just like her garbage cooking skills. There's a mysterious Malice eyeball right beneath this Malice pile here at Tabantha Tower. This one is all by itself and does not free any attached Malice when destroyed. A couple rest inns in Hyrule have some funny phrases on their signs, such as Kakariko Village's Shut-Eye Inn, which says rest your bones, and Goron City's Rollin' Inn, which just has snoring Z's. If you look closely, Smotherwing butterflies have large flame designs on the bottom of their wings. I swear I've seen this design somewhere before. All stall enemies drown in water, just like their normal counterparts. But normally, Lizalfos are water breathing and can't drown. So what do their stall versions do? They still drown, but with the I'm on fire animation instead. If you back up just a tiny bit, you can just hop straight over Lizalfos' tail whip attack. Have you ever wanted to be in a cozy protective bubble while exploring at all times? If you hold Daruk's protection, walking around can become pretty clumsy, because you're constantly in the defensive stance. But if you keep holding ZL, then just tap Magnesis or Stasis on and off, you can walk and run around normally. There are some documents from Nintendo that shows their planning and design for how horses detect and jump over obstacles ahead of itself, depending on the speed the horse is currently at, which must be a pretty complex system, given the thousands of situations horses face while riding around in the overworld. This development test here was done east of the Great Plateau. Link swims faster without clothes on. If he wears heavy armor, his swim speed is reduced significantly. To navigate around this, you can use a speed buff potion to swim faster. Funny thing is that swim speed buffs do not work while you have no clothes on, so you have to have at least one piece of equipment on you for the speed buff to work. Well, time to put on Tingle's hat. Did you know that the Bokoblin, Moblin, and Lizalfos mask actually changes Link's Hurtbox? There aren't too many uses for it in actual gameplay though, but it's still a small, neat detail. If you stasis a disguised Yiga assassin while they're doing their dash attack, moving to a specific angle to their left or right will cause them to continue to dash around you forever. Okay, that's enough. There's been a glitch found recently that has some really strange properties. If you use a campfire, aim the camera away from enemies, then watch a memory, they'll be loaded in, but invisibly. Shooting this load block with ice arrows or fire arrows, then doing a menu action loads them back in permanently on fire or frozen, but still able to move around like nothing's wrong. A side effect of the frozen enemy version is that they become extremely light, and even large enemies such as moblins are able to be launched upwards by any updraft. Also, any equipment with cloth physics they pick up go kind of wonky. If you clip through the walls of shrines, you're able to escape the map and fall into a never-ending abyss. As time passes, Link becomes more and more distorted over time, and pretty soon just becomes a wall of pixels. If you're wondering if this abyss has a bottom though, user Drill Karamari started falling back on March 8th of 2020, and has since then never turned his console off. He is still falling to this day, updating the status every once in a while. You can fly through this tiny window at Hyrule Castle. Some people still don't know that the Chuchu's weak spot is its eyeballs. There's a process with the glitch that has really interesting effects, and it puts you into the shoes of wildlife without mods. By freezing yourself as you talk to someone, then riding over to an animal and then trying to mount it, you will take over their point of view. Doing this trick with a Lynel, you can finally see what it's like to become a Lynel. Now that I see this from their angle, I can see how annoying it must feel to be shot by Link's pesky arrows. Yeah, you think that's funny, Link? Come over here and say it to my face. Kass has some sheet music that is partially readable on his hip. Unfortunately, each sheet is rolled up and only half of the page of music is readable, so it doesn't make much sense when it's actually played out. But if you can find a reference within these half pages, let us know. This Lynel at Gerudo Summit is the only one that carries normal arrows, and with the wooden shield with durability transferred, can be farmed for arrows. Now these final two tips are boss spoilers, so be warned. Dark Beast Ganon's massive laser burns grass and creates updrafts, but its effects are different from a normal fire. The grass burned, if you look closely, is lifeless and flattened from Ganon's evil, compared to normal grass's burned state. Dark Beast Ganon's weak points can be hit in several different ways, such as a Bow of Light obviously, Twilight Bow, Master Sword Beam, and even Urbosa's Fury. And that's a wrap. If you enjoyed this series, check out our Breath of the Wild Expert Series playlist, with tons of Breath of the Wild tidbits you never knew about. And for everything else gaming, stay tuned right here on GameSpot.